All right, now we got this movie called Damsel, you know what I'm saying? You got the chick from 11 from Stranger Things on here, and you got Angela Bassett in it. There you have it. So it starts off with this king, he got a bunch of knights or whatever like that. He ends up going into this cavern, right? Apparently they're supposed to try to slay this dragon, but the dragon burns these niggas up, done deal daddy shit. And then the king is next to get done deal daddy shit. They'll be harboring the centuries later. We talked to this girl by the name of Ellie and her sister Flora. They go back to meet up with their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Baylord. Miss Baylord is played by Angela Bassett. The thing is, she their stepmom. Their real mom passed away a while ago. They get a letter from the Queen of Aurora, and they're basically going to marry off Ellie to the prince. Now, the thing is, the town's running out of supplies and all that other stuff. Bottom line is, Ellie gets married to the prince, they'll have gold and wealth and everything like that to be able to share with the country. Obviously, one of those arranged marriages and whatnot. So Ellie, with no choice, goes along with it. They set sail by boat. Then it gets all ominous, like this little fog cloud. Then you see these, like, statues of freaking dragons. Then they get to the country, it's all nice and clear and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, where'd the fog go? Dramatic effect all of a sudden. Then they get to the kingdom, they meet the king and queen and all that. Meets the prince, seems like a nice young man. So while Ellie's getting to know the prince, everybody's looking around the castle. Meanwhile, the queen is talking to Mr. Baynor. Angela's trying to make sure everything's good because Mr. Baylor came out, he just looked frustrated. She's like, we got the gold and everything, right? She's like, yeah. She was like, so what troubles you? But he ain't never say nothing about it. We think to ourselves, there's gotta be a problem here somewhere. So we see Ellie at night chilling at the top of the castle. She looks below the castle, sees another girl there just chilling, and they get her ready for some other type of ceremony. Then it's time for them to get married. They say I do's, kiss and all that. And then Mr. and Mrs. Baylord and Flora go back to their country. Now, when Ellie was talking about to the prince, he was talking about, you know, he always wanted to travel the world, go around, exploring stuff, all this other good stuff, right? Now, after they got married, they got to go to this temple or whatever. High up in the mountains, they got to perform this ceremony. So when they get there, all these people up there with masks on, and you got the queen there. Now, the queen starts explaining a story about the land. She tells a story about the king centuries ago, about, you know, the situation that happened at the beginning of the movie. So apparently the king didn't die at that point to the dragon. And basically the king had to sacrifice 3 of his daughters to let the country flourish and live. Which reluctantly, he had no choice but to do because he wanted to save his country. So they go across this bridge to get to this platform where they do this ceremony where the queen slices her son's palm and then slices Ellie's palm and they touch together so their blood would be infinite together or whatever like that, right? In the ceremony, Queen also gives Ellie this coin or whatever like that to toss into the cavern, and that's what she does. She just tosses it down there. Now, it's customary for the prince to carry her back across the cavern or whatever like that, but halfway there, all of a sudden, he apologizes, says, I'm sorry, and then tosses her in the cavern. I'm like, what the fuck? She fell far as hell. Surprisingly, she was still alive. So she's down there, and she sees some other, like, tassels and stuff like that. Now, apparently, she has to realize that she's part of the sacrifice, too. She realized other girls have been tossed down here, maybe 1 or 2. So as she's going through the cavern, she sees a bird that's on fire or whatever like that. She's trying to put it out, you know what I'm saying? The bird's just pretty much dead. Then all of a sudden, all these other birds come out flying around with fire on them. They all fucked up. Then out of nowhere, she hears a voice, and the dragon starts talking to her. We're like, oh, shit. She basically wants her to run because she's hunting her prey, you know what I'm saying? Ellie ends up running. She gets into this, like, deep cavern or whatever like that. The fire-breathing dragon, you know what I'm saying? Some of it gets on her leg. Her leg burnt up. We're like, oh, fuck. She's using part of her dress to wrap it up, whatever like that. Then she's got this like little chast thing or whatever. She puts a fire in the chast thing and closes it up, and now she's got a light. She's going deeper into the tunnel. She falls into this cave. Then she's got to go across this platform. Because when she fell in the cave, the chest opened up and the fire went out. And then going across this cave, you see these blue lights or whatever like that. With no choice because the dragon is trying to approach her again. She pulls out this knife that she got from her mom. She jumps across it. She almost falls to the crevice. So she uses the knife to drag herself from the rocks and pull herself up. I'm like, that shit is crazy. You know she ain't had no strength in one of her legs. You know she's a goddamn warrior. So she's looking at these lights closely and realizing they're not lights. These are like slugs and shit. Some type of blue glow-in-the-light slug. So she starts putting them, tears off a part of her top part or whatever like that, wraps it around, and then puts the slugs in there and uses them as another light. She goes to this part where there's a little trench. She thinks to herself, oh, it's a water, whatever. She tries to drink it, but it's like bad. You can't even drink that shit. It's like fucking up. Then she looks up as icicles, and then the ice starts dripping or whatever like that. So now she's got some fresh water. She starts drinking that, and all of a sudden it starts dripping quicker. So you're like, oh shit, where'd the fucking dragon come from again? Now he's about to burn through that shit. She falls down to another crevice, and she sees a bunch of names on the wall. We're like, oh shit, these are all the other girls that was tossed down here. And then she seen like bones and body parts, whatever like that. So I'm pretty sure everybody that was tossed down there was done deal dead as shit. And she looked over at this other spot. Turns out the girl that she saw in the other tower, she was over there too. Done deal dead as shit. So she starts unwrapping the bandages on her leg, trying to let it breathe, right? And then she curls up into a little spot. She's freezing over like that. She's trying to get a little bit of rest. Next thing we know, she wakes up. The slugs are all on her leg and shit. So she's like trying to get them off. But as she's getting them off, she realizes the slugs are actually healing her fucking wounds. So then she puts one on her elbow and it cleans off her elbow and shit. So these bugs are useful. They clean off wounds and they give her a light so she can see through the tunnels. So then she starts scanning the walls and she ends up finding a map. Now, apparently these girls that were in here, you know what I'm saying, they try to make a map to find their way out. So they start looking through stuff where it's like, oh, snap, okay. So she keeps going down through the tunnel and she finds this way out. It's supposed to be a crystal type of wall or something. So she tears out more parts of her dress, wraps them around her feet, wraps them around her hands. One of the people that was locked down there is this chick named Victoria. Apparently her V crown was still sitting down there. So she used the V crown so to be able to climb on other parts of the hard parts of the crystals and shit. Yeah, she's using everything to her advantage. So she's climbing halfway up this shit. All of a sudden, the goddamn dragon is down there. I'm like, how the fuck did the dragon fit through down there? So the dragon's basically waiting for her to fall so she get eaten. But she ain't having that shit. She climbs up out of there. So why wasn't the dragon worried about her getting to the top? Well, she gets to the top and finds out she's on this high part of the goddamn mountain. There's no way for her to climb down from there. So she's like, oh man, I'll show these fuck. So she's looking down there. She sees like 4 horses and people or whatever like that. I'm like, where are these people going? She tries to wave him down, but of course they can't hear her from up there. And all of a sudden the dragon comes out of nowhere like it's about to burn her. He's like, oh shit. So now she's got to go back down. But she doesn't go back down right away. The dragon spots the four people and the 4 horses and shit. Turns out it's Ellie's dad and a couple of dudes or whatever like that. You're thinking to yourself, well, why are they here? They're there looking for Ellie. But I'm thinking to myself, they should think she's okay, right? Because she was already married off to the prince. So what are they worried about? So the dragon's distracted. It's about to burn these niggas up, right? Ellie's going back down trying to sneak her way back into the spot of the cavern of where it was at. 2 of them niggas get done deal duffed. Then dad ends up fighting one-on-one with the dragon. The only reason why the dragon is sparing them now is because the dragon wants him to call out Ellie. Then we found out that he knew exactly what was going to happen. He was automatically knew he was going to sacrifice his daughter so the greater the good of the country. That's how he came out there with that sad look on his face when he was talking to his wife. So in his last words, he tells her not to come out. And then the dragon ends up killing her dad. Sacrificed himself for his daughter. You know, he put her in that situation in the first place, but I get it. You're trying to save the country, and yeah, I get it. Still fucked up either way. But now you think to yourself, did he really have a choice? So while she's trying to hide from the dragon, she sees this area that has like gold and these like eggs or whatever. And then we find out the backstory, what really happened. It turns out a century ago, the king and these men or whatever like that, we said these 3 dragon babies or whatever like that, they ended up killing the dragon babies, and that's when they had confronted the dragon, and then they got done deal, and that's what really happened. So when they came in the cavern, they got ropes or whatever like that. These ropes will lead to the top of the cavern. But she's got to find some way to distract the dragon and get out the way so she'll have time to climb the ropes. But with the help of one of the dudes still alive, the dragon hears that, and then that's where she makes her exit. She's trying to hurry up and get up out of there with the ropes. The dragon ends up killing the one dude, but luckily Ellie is able to get up out of there. She gets on one of the horses trying to escape, whatever like that, but then the dragon's coming. Now she's realizing at this point, the dragon gonna end up catching her ass. So what happens, she sends the horse off one way, and then she hides under some fucking rocks. The dragon ends up burning the horse, done deal, dead as shit. Then it's tossing all types of fires and whatnot. The queen's thinking to herself, Ellie's not dead or whatever like that. So what does she do? She go get some people to get on the boat. They kick down Miss Baylord or whatever like that, and they end up taking Flora as another sacrifice. The dragon causing ruckus, doing all type of shit. All the shit blows over. Next thing you see, Ellie sees her mom, tells her the situation, and she's like, man, fuck that, I gotta go save Flora. She gives her the horse so she can go back to the mountain, but they already did the blood sacrifice and tossed her in the daggone chasm. Ellie gets there, but it's too late. She ends up detaching one of the parts from this daggone bridge or whatever, and using it as a rope so she can climb down and go get her. But by the time she gets down there and realizes the dragon has her in her arms, she's like, oh shit. But the thing is, the dragon's not going to kill her, not just yet. She knows that Ellie's going to come for her. So now Ellie's got to come up with some type of plan to get her sister back. So she sees all this armor from like people that are done deal dead, whatever like that. She tries to build up this thing. She takes like a helmet, she takes some sand or whatever like that and has it dripping down. And then she gets a sword. And basically she's going to use that as a distraction. So when the armor falls apart or whatever like that, the dragon will hear the noise to get her, and then Ellie can sneak over and grab her sister. The problem is the sister was knocked out and they had enough time to get out there, so basically she had to hide her sister real quick. Dragon comes back, finds out the sister gone, she turns around, then sees Ellie with a fucking sword pointed in her eye. So we find out the dragon are killing all these people, sacrificing whatever like that, but they're sacrificing because she thinks that they're actually girls that belong in that country. But these are innocent girls from multiple different countries, but the thing is the dragon don't believe that because they take the blood oath. When they take the blood oath, she smells the blood of the people that's supposed to be here. So that's why she doesn't believe when anybody says anything about them being from other countries. And they make sacrifices to make sure the dragon stays at bay. Dragon still tries to burn Ellie, but luckily she falls in the water. It gets to the point where a fight where Ellie ends up stabbing the dragon in one of his eyes, so it's got like half his vision. Now somehow end up stabbing the dragon in the neck, so his arm is legged up, done deal. They both tied. Ellie's walking towards this part. We're thinking to ourselves, where the heck is she walking towards? You see this rock shell on the ground, right? But she turns around towards the dragon and is like, if you're going to burn me, then burn me then. So the dragon's about to burn. She jumps out the way. The fire comes up out the storm and hits her right back on her skin. It's like, oh, the dragon's all burnt up. So the dragon's like, you know what? Go in and end me then. But Ellie's like, nah, fuck that. The killing of our people stops here. Then she goes to war against some of these neon slugs or whatever like that, and it actually puts them on the dragon to heal the wounds. So the dragon's seeing compassion even though it could have easily been killed. Or she could have easily been killed. So now we go back to the castle and we see Prince about to get married again, about to make another sacrifice, basically. And all of a sudden, this coin comes rolling in, and we're like, oh shit. They let him know what time it is. And all of a sudden, Ellie walks up in there, badass. And then she tells everybody that ain't a part of the family, get out of here now. The future wife gets out there, she starts running. And the queen acting all brash and shit. She's like, you think you can take this on the whole country? She's like, I'm not the one you should be afraid of. All of a sudden, the dragon comes up and burns all them niggas to the ground. Castle all fucked up. Ellie slow walks out of there, some gangster shit. And the dragon flying over top of her. So bottom line, they end up getting all the resources and everything like that, getting into their town, you know what I'm saying, for her mom and her sister, Flora. And they're going to command the town and the 7 seas and all that. Last thing you see is them on the boat, about to take over more territory, and got the dragon flying with them. The end. Damsel on Netflix. Check it out.